This is my favorite phone of the year, the Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV. Out of everything, out of my Z Fold 4, out of my Z Flip 4, out of my S22 Ultra, my Pixel 7, all these great phones, and they're very great phones. We're very blessed and fortunate in the year 2022 that basically anything that's a flagship level phone is an amazing phone that you can get so much use, utility, enjoyment, all sorts of great things. But for me personally, this is it. And not just because it's purple. I paid a lot of money. I got this. It's the international model. I couldn't wait the few extra months to get the US model. So mine doesn't even work with 5G. But 4G LTE works out perfectly fine. I'm sure by time next year when the Xperia 1 Mark V comes out that hopefully they'll get on board with having a better global rollout and I'm not stuck getting an international model. That doesn't work with 5G over here. But they do have the US model, of course, and it does support 5G in the US. Snapdragon 8 Generation 1, you've got external storage, which is nice. I mean, I've got a 256 gigabyte storage model. So the beautiful thing here, it starts off with 256, not 512, external SD card slot. Look, watch this. You don't even need an SD, like the SIM card removal tool. You just pop it right out, you're good to go. And you can put an SD card slot in there, you put your SIM card in there. That's fantastic. The charging is actually pretty decent on here. Wireless charging, IP68 dust and water resistance, 5,000 milliamp battery, big beautiful actual 4K screen. Like it has a 4K screen and it has the fingerprint sensor built into the power button for everybody who likes to have one of those. And yeah, gosh darn it, this phone was expensive. It was like $1,600 when it first came out. I was fortunate and I got one internationally. I was able to get it here in the US. I paid like $1,100-1,200 for mine. Of course, the prices come down since then, especially if you're going through like Amazon or whatever. However, why do I like this phone? Like, why is it special to me that I like this phone over all of the other phones? And we've seen them all this year. I mean, the Pixels, the iPhones, the foldables, the flippables, the OnePluses, the S22 Ultras of the world. What makes this one special? Well, one, it's purple. I mean, I love purple phones, but I love the camera on here, especially the continuous zoom on here, which is fantastic. It's a true optical continuous zoom. Works out great. It's great. You can do 4K 120 frames per second. You can get your crazy slow-mo stuff. You can take great photos with it. You got the true, basically Sony Alpha camera experience on a phone. It's thin, it's lightweight, easy to use one-handed, and it's got the newer and improved selfie camera, which was definitely needed over the Xperia 1 Mark III. It needed the better selfie camera. And I just think it's a good phone. I love the haptic feedback. I love the screen, the 4K. I love the dedicated shutter button so you can take your pictures with it. It's also got the whole focusing thing where you press it down just a little bit and then you go ahead and press it all the way to get your full photo. I think the support has been pretty good. It didn't even take that long to get Android 13. I'm running Android 13 on here. So it's just been a great experience. There are things that I think some people won't like the fact that it costs a lot of money. It costs more than most other phones. Of course, also availability. Sony doesn't really sell them here in the US. You got to get it through like an Amazon or a Best Buy. And then I bought the international model. It doesn't even work with 5G. Even though there's no 5G on here, and if you saw the chronicles of the overheating issues I was having trying to record and shoot pictures out in the hot sun, you know there was some frustration here. But it's gotten a little bit better. But especially as the weather has changed, it's not 100 degrees outside anymore. There's like two schools of thought. Yes, if you take any phone out in 100 degree weather, it's not going to function for very long shooting 4K video. However, even shooting 1080p video in 100 degree weather, I was only getting like 2 or 3 minutes and the sucker would overheat and it would stop recording, get crazy hot, I'd have to cool it off. I mean, I'm sorry, when you have a phone this thin, and you've got a Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 in there, there's not really any heat piping, there's no active cooling on here. So yeah, it caused me some significant pain points. But over the year, like throughout this entire year, I love the Xperia 1 Mark III so much. As soon as this one came out, I bought it and I fell in love with it. It's great. And I've got my nice Spigen case that I put on here. I've got one of those like kind of privacy matte screen protectors on here. Beautiful screen, and it's just a really enjoyable experience. It's nice. It's so easy to hold with one hand. It's light. It's got a great camera experience, and if you've used the previous Xperia phones, you know how much it needed the upgraded selfie camera, and then the selfie camera, much improved, and it takes great photos. So it's just been something that I've really enjoyed, and I still enjoy. And I hate that I don't have a SIM card in there right now because I keep having to test all of these other phones. And that's one of the things a lot of people don't see on the back end when it comes to being a tech reviewer. I get so many phones all the time. I've got 2 phones fixing to come out here very soon. I'm testing them right now. I've been making these end of year phone videos, of course, all the Pixel stuff. So I'm always basically have a SIM card and a Pixel phone. I'm always using the Pixel phones. I'm also carrying my iPhone 14 Pro Max, carrying the Z Fold 4. I've even got a SIM card in my BlackBerry Key 1 right now, just because I was missing the keyboard, wanted to type on it. So having to bounce around all the time, I can't always just sit and use the phone that I really like. I mean, as much as I want to, as many SIM cards as I have, it's just not a very easy endeavor. So even this whole year, it's been like, okay, I'm always happy and excited when I can put my SIM card back in it and use it for a few more weeks. That's not something I can say about very many phones. I mean, I like them. I like a lot of them just fine. I think that there's some very good phones. S22 Ultra, I've said, I think is the best flagship premium phone of the year. I think the Pixel 7 is the phone of the year. I think the Pixel 6a, best budget phone of the year. The Fold 4 is an exquisite piece of work that I think Samsung's done a great job on. So when you look at them and you try and compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges, I mean, phones are just like cars nowadays. So many of them do so many of the same things, but there's only one car. You sit in it and the seat feels just right. The steering wheel feels just right. It's got all the features in it. I mean, you get in it, it might have like the Bose stereo speakers instead of the Harman Kardon or whatever, but there are just, you find something that you'll like and it just fits like a glove and it's just an enjoyable experience every time you use it. And other than when I was having the heating issues, when I was trying to shoot video and make my review videos and stuff, I don't normally shoot a lot of video. So it's not the most huge pain point for me on a day-to-day basis, especially now that it's cooled off. But at the end of the day, I am definitely team Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV. I love it. It's so cool. Like, you can do a lot of things with it. You can actually use this as a camera to do live streams on YouTube, and it'll send the signal straight over and record it directly to YouTube while you're doing stuff on the computer, like, you know, replying to comments and running the actual interface. It's really amazing what you can do with this phone. So all that to say, I am a big fan of the Xperia 1 Mark IV. It's my favorite phone of this year. And there's been a lot of them. There's been a lot of this surprised me. I mean, like, I'm not saying the Motorola Edge Plus 2022 is my favorite phone of the year, but it was very surprising picking one up at the end of the year and getting it for about $500-600. It does a lot of great things. I mean, especially you look at, I really like the OnePlus 10T. I thought it was really cool, especially with the whole cooling element stuff. And it had the Snapdragon 8 Plus Generation 1, 1080p display. It's got the cool case on it that helps wick away heat, and it's like basically the best gaming phone you can get. I mean, even taking a look at a gaming phone like the Red Magic 7S Pro with that built-in 20,000 RPM cooling fan. That's a really cool thing. I'm very privileged. I get to see a lot of cool phones. Of course, I buy most of them. But at the end of the day, I'm a consumer too. I have things, I mean, I have needs. I need to be able to text and communicate, and I want it to be on a phone that I really love and I enjoy. And for me, the best one has been this guy right here, the Xperia 1 Mark IV. Now, there have been some other phones that have taken me away from that, especially over the last couple of months, but now that things are kind of winding down towards the end of the year, yeah, I probably will get to a point where I put my SIM card back in it and use it for a couple more weeks until January, February gets here and we get to the S23 season. And then who knows, probably April, May, June, we'll be talking about the Xperia 1 Mark V. I mean, heck, there's already rumors floating around of an Xperia foldable, which actually looks like a pretty cool concept too, and I would totally buy that. So, one other thing I want to say, it's okay to like whatever phone you like. Like, you don't have to feel like there's peer pressure to fall in line and be like, oh, I have to use a Samsung, or my whole family uses Samsung, or my whole family uses iPhone, or, you know, I love Motorola phones, but I get ridiculed for it. Look, at the end of the day, you're the one using the phone. You're the one paying the bill. You're the one that uses it on a day-to-day basis, has to live with it and enjoy or not enjoy the features and the problems and the good things that come along the way. If you like something, use it. I mean, that's, I think, the moral of the story. And I think most people are probably that way. I don't think a lot of people are succumbing to peer pressure when they're like, oh, I can't believe you're using that Motorola Razr 5G still in 2022. It's so old and dated. It's a great experience. Like, the Motorola Razr 5G is a really, really good phone. So, I like this one. And feel free to like whatever phone you like. But this one is my most favorite phone of 2022. It has the thumbs up, Adam J. Matlock seal of approval, and I'm going to roll with this one. It's my ride or die phone for the year. So that's all I got. If you have any questions or comments, if you're a fellow Sony Xperia phone lover, then please sound off in the comments section. I know there's some people that really like this phone, and I think it does have a really sweet spot in a lot of people's hearts. I think Sony, other than the heat management issues, did a fantastic job with this phone. All the right upgrades in all the right places, and it's a really nice, polished, refined experience. And it's got Android 13 now, so also very cool. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, then please go to the comment section. I will get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.